All right, great. So yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Today's class, we're going to be going over Microsoft Word intermediate skills. So we've had a class on Microsoft Word, some basic skills, just opening a document, saving a document, doing some basic things, just doing some basic writing. Today, we are going to be working on doing things like formatting your document, starting to make it look a little pretty, making things bold, underlining, and doing italics, making your font bigger, maybe changing your font because you want it to look a certain way. That's completely fine too. So there's going to be a lot of fun things we're going to be doing today. I'm excited about this class because this is the class where we're going to go from just making a basic document to really starting to make it something that's presentable that you can share with other people and that can go out and you can feel good about, because it's not just a basic document, it's really starting to look like a professional Word document. And that's going to be a representation of you. And that's my favorite thing about this entire course, is that it just empowers you as an individual to be able to represent yourself digitally using the different programs and assets that you're going to be learning throughout our program. And so it's going to be a fun one today. We're also going to be talking about making lists in Microsoft Word. So let's say you want to make a grocery list and you want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then maybe under one of the items, and we'll do this and we'll have some fun with it. We'll come up with a recipe that we want to make a shopping list for, and it'll be fun because we'll learn about a recipe that one of you guys out there maybe is one of your go-to recipes. So be thinking about that, because we are going to make a grocery list. And then last thing we're going to talk about is some bullet points. And throughout, we'll have a couple of assessments, just some knowledge checks to make sure we're learning, and give you guys opportunities to ask questions. So that's what we're going to be covering today. And at the end, we'll talk about what we're going to be covering for the rest of February. So with that said, does anybody have any questions about what we're doing today? If not, get started. I see some things in the chat. Akuna, I'm not really monitoring the chat, so if there's something I need to know, just feel free to unmute or something. Okay, so I'm going to minimize you guys and share my screen here. Okay. Just let me know when you guys can see my screen, please. You should be able to see it now. Okay, so this is a Word document. So this is something that was created with our curriculum. And as you can see, it just says Minneapolis there in the middle, job fair. What does it look like, just viewing this, like, what does it look like this document is about? Like, what jumps out to you just at first thought? And this is going to be a participation class, so please feel free to unmute. What do you see here? Like, what's the first thing that jumps out at you when you look at this document?
The title, Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. Why does it jump out to you?
Because it's in big font.
It's like right there, right? It's like, look at me, Minneapolis. What else do you see right under that? It's a different color, right?
Job fair.
Job fair, exactly. So they give you a different color. And down here, do you guys like this, how this looks, right? So it said, what should you bring? And it gives you a checklist there. I don't know about you guys. I love little checklists. It lets me know where I'm at. What have I done? What do I still need to do? Because sometimes my brain just forgets what I need to do. So I do a lot of checklists. I have notepads everywhere and checklists. And this is one of my favorite parts of Word, is you can make a list. And so I love that they used a question here, and then they answered it with some bullet points. Same thing down here. What will you do at the job fair? And it lists 3 different things: meet with each company, give a copy of your resume, and ask about jobs the company is hiring for. Also here, I love that this is a digital one, and they have a hyperlink here. So I thought that was pretty cool that, because sometimes there's a website that you can go to and maybe register, and they'll say, hey, click this link and go to the website. We'll also show you guys how to do hyperlinks today, and how to get to websites, and you can create links in your documents. So maybe if you're, let's say, creating a resume, a digital resume that you're going to be sharing with people, maybe emailing out or uploading to a website, you can put a link on your resume with your LinkedIn profile, if you have one, so that people can go and look at your references and what kind of work you've been doing. And that's one of my favorite things to do in Word, is to be able to link it to other places. So yeah, I just wanted to discuss that with you guys. These are some of the things we're going to be working on today. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and there's my wife and kids. Y'all can say hi to them. Erica in the middle. You got Zoe on the left and Christian on the right. Christian's back here studying actually right now on my right, and Zoe's downstairs. We're at a dance convention in Bellevue this weekend, so we're having a good time. Okay, so here's Microsoft Word. Again, just to start from the top, I just want to share again how to find Microsoft Word. It is the blue icon here at the bottom. So if you put your mouse, if you just move your mouse over these things at the bottom, and you don't have to click anything, but if you just move your mouse over, you can see I've got Chrome, I've got Microsoft Teams, I've got a little snipping tool, I have Firefox, which is an internet browser. That's how you would access the internet. And if I go over the W, the blue W, it says Word. So that's one way, if you have it on your laptop or on your device, to open it up. And this is our quick launch bar at the bottom. So you can always click there and it'll just open up Word. Okay. The other way to open up Microsoft Word is if you have a PC, which would be a Windows computer, not an Apple computer, you can go here in the search bar out on the bottom left hand, and you can just type in Word. And when you type it in, it pulls up Word. So this is one of the easiest ways to find different softwares on your laptop. I'll show you guys that again. So bottom left corner, you can left click the search and type in what you're looking for there. And you see it says Microsoft Word when you click there, and it allows you to click here. And again, it'll open up Microsoft Word. Once you get into Word, it'll always show you your most recent documents here if you've had multiple documents open. So you can see I've had a couple of training outlines, a baptism invite, a resume. I just did my kid's chore chart the other day in Microsoft Word. I'll share that with you guys real quick. This is Kristen's chore chart. Make his bed, clean his room, brush his teeth. He's got the upstairs bathroom on Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and do the dishes, right? And then it talks about what his reward is. And then we had one for Zoe here. So Microsoft Word is so cool because I didn't have to create this. I was able to just use a template that Microsoft Word already had, and I was just able to adjust it by adding their names and so forth. But I want to create a brand new document this time. So I'm just went down to the Windows tab in the bottom left here. And this is the third way to get there, and you can just find it here. Just hit Microsoft Word. And again, Microsoft Word, just to review from the top, it is a text program. So it's primarily going to be writing letters, writing resumes, creating calendars, and fun things like that. So then we want to left click blank document. And this is going to be our workspace here. So if I zoom out, and I'm just holding down the control button, and then I'm scrolling backwards on my mouse, and that will zoom out. If you scroll towards your screen while holding control, it'll zoom in. Notice down here in the bottom right, it'll give you the percentage that we're zoomed in. So I can zoom in to, let's say 200% here. And now we all can see a portion of the page because we've zoomed all the way in, which is not a problem. So I'm just going to go like this. Okay. And so I'm just going to type something here. I'm going to say hello, and I'm going to say hello, welcome to our digital navigation class today. We are going to learn the following things. How to increase font, how to bold, how to underline, how to change the font and color. And then I'm going to just up here say welcome. So that'll be our, so this looks very basic, right? I mean, it's okay. You got your words on the page, but it doesn't really catch your attention when you look at it, right? It's just black and white. And I don't know about you guys, we really want to see some color. We want to make it more interesting to look at. Because I don't know about you guys, if you've ever read a book that has a lot of words and they're really small and they all look the same size, it's tough. Like we want to make it easy for folks to read our stuff. And so I'm going to show you guys a couple ways to increase your font and work with some of the tools up here. So today we're going to start with looking at bold. So the shortcut to make things bold is you can highlight the words that you want to make bold. Let me zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see the difference when I do this. So right now, this is currently just regular text, right? I'm going to make it bold. So I just highlighted it you can double click it to highlight the word. So see, I just double click and it'll highlight the word, or you can grab it from the end, hold down your left clicker and move all the way to the front of the word. So there's a couple ways to highlight. Notice here that when I highlight, this menu pops up right here in the middle. And it gives you some options. These are the primary options we're going to be looking at today. So we can bold, can italics. And what is italics used for? Anybody know what italics used for? When you're reading or writing, italics normally is used to indicate the spoken word that someone is speaking. So if you're including a quote of someone and you said, you know, Thomas Jefferson said, ... those words that he said would normally be indented and they would also be in italics. So for instance, if you were writing something and you wanted to put a quote, you would do the open quote sign and you would say, give me liberty or give me death. I'll just put that up there. And then you would come back and highlight that entire section and you make it italics. And that tells the reader that you are establishing that this was something that was said. Okay, so that's italics. So right now, again, I'm just going to double click. We can already see that it's bold because that is imprinted there. You can see that that button looks like it's being used. The I is being used. And then we also want to use the U. I'm going to hit the U and see that it underlines it. So there's a couple things we did. So we highlighted and then we just hit bold. So if you click the button again, it will undo those items. So now we're back to our welcome. Pretty basic. So that's the first way to use bold, italics, and underline. Okay. The key here, whenever you're formatting your text and you're changing your text or your font, the first thing you always have to remember is you have to highlight. If you only highlight the back end, let's say you only highlight half the word and you do bold, now we have half the word is bold and italics and underlined and the other half isn't. So the first step anytime you're formatting your text is to remember that you do need to highlight the entire word or words, and then you can come in here and you can do what you want to with it, okay? All right, so that's those. I just have my lesson plan over here. I'm making sure I'm hitting all the proper points for you guys. Let's see. The other thing that you can do in here to format your font, let's say you didn't like this font, it's a little boring. Maybe you're writing a book for children and you want it to look a little bit more entertaining for the children. Maybe you come in and you make the word bigger. So again, you can highlight and you can come here and just make the font bigger. The other way to increase the font is this drop down. So this is the name of the current font, Calibri Body. It's up here in the ribbon. So this is the ribbon again. The ribbon is, right now we're in the home tab. So you can see there's multiple tabs. You have the home tab, the insert tab. Under the insert tab, you can insert a table, you can insert a blank page, you can insert pictures and shapes, smart items, et cetera, bookmarks, all kinds of fun things you can insert. Draw, of course, you can just draw on your page. You can add a signature, design. There's multiple things that you can do there. So there's just a lot of stuff that you can do, but we're primarily going to be working in the Home tab. And that's a term you're going to want to remember. You might see that again in some of our Microsoft Word assessments. So under the Home tab, though, you have bold, italics, underline, and then this is where you would change the font up here at the top. So if I hit the drop down there, and let's say I do Snap ITC, this is the name of the font. It's called Snap ITC. Don't ask me what that means. I don't know. But look at how it looks. If I was reading like a spooky, scary story, that'd be a pretty cool font, right? So it changes it, and you see how changing the font of the text changes how we perceive it, right? And so there's a lot of different things you can do with the font. Let's say we highlighted and we wanted to do something more fancy. Maybe we were doing a fancy letter and we wanted it to look fancy. So you can go with something like that. It looks a little bit nicer than this plain text here for hello. And this one's called Baskerville Old Face, you know, lots of different things out there. And so again, I just highlighted, went up to the top, and then there's in the fonts up here are in alphabetical order. This is Algerian. So there's just hundreds and hundreds of different fonts here, as you can see, as I scroll down, and as you put your mouse over it, it will give you a preview of what that might look like if you were to select it. So if you just go over, there's one called Free Ink. Kind of looks like actual written letters, right? Like we would write in our standard letters. So I like that one a lot too. So that's how you change your font. You can also, again, change your size up here. You can increase your size or decrease the size depending on how big and how much space you would like it to take. Increase, decrease, okay. Another thing you can do here with your font is you can, again, highlight, and you can highlight the text. If there's something on a page you really want it to stick out for your customers or the folks that are going to be viewing it, you can highlight it. And again, you just have to select the word again, and then you need to just select the highlighter text. So again, if you put your cursor over this icon here, this is called the icon. All of these items here at the top are icons. And these icons just represent an action that will be taken if you use that icon. So here's our icon for bold, for instance. So just going to zoom in here. So this is our icon for bold, this B, right? Then we have this I. This is our icon for italics. U is our icon for underlining. Here you can see this is our icon for highlighting. Let's say we wanted to highlight in green, no problem. Anytime you want to change something, that little drop down arrow right next to the selection will change it for you. Okay. Okay. Just gonna get out of this here for you guys real quick.
I don't have my headphones.
Okay. And let's see here. Last thing I wanted to show you guys is if you want to change, I'm going to take the highlighter off just so we can see a little better there. If you want to change the actual color of the font, we can use the icon. And again, that's another word you may hear again is icon. All of these up here are icons. You can just click the icon, the arrow next to it for A, and let's say we wanted to change it to green text. And there we go. So now we have green text. We've changed the actual font to ink free. We increased the size to, let's say, 36. And we made it green. And let's say we did want to do a little like a gray background. Completely fine. So there's a couple things that we just did, some basic formatting just to make the document a little bit more interesting. Does anybody have any questions about what we've done so far?
Yes, I had written in the chat.
Okay.
I see a lot of documents having the Times New Roman. Is that the common one?
That is a great question. Thank you for asking that. So Times New Roman, it is one of the more popular ones. I would say Arial is very popular. It's a very easy one to read. The words aren't in cursive or anything. Let me just get back to unformatting these things here. I'm just going to go back to black. I'm going to take off the background. Okay. So let's go look at Times New Roman. So if you don't want to scroll down, by the way, you can just type in TIMES and see that it already pulled it up. So this is Times New Roman. This is a very popular one. I would say if you were going to choose and you were writing a professional letter or a professionally written document that's going to go to a business, I would either use Arial or I would use Times New Roman. Those would be the primary two that I would choose. It's going to look it's going to look the way that a professional would expect. Obviously, you wouldn't want to go with anything like the one we had up earlier. You wouldn't want to write a professional letter or a resume in let's see, in Snap ITC. They would say, "What are you applying to be a cartoon director? Like, what's happening here?" So that's a good question. Thank you for asking that. Any other questions?
How did you change the background to another color?
Yes. So again, we always start by highlighting the selection and the thing that we want to change. It's this icon here is text highlighting. It's also up here in the ribbon. So if you want to find the icon again, but you have to be on the home tab here. If you're not on the home tab, you won't see the icon up here. But again, if you highlight, it'll pop up right there for you. And if you, again, put your mouse over the icon, it'll tell you text highlighting color. And then you just select the text that you want to, the color you want to go with.
Okay.
Makes it jump off the page. Quite nice, actually.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see. The last thing I want to share with you guys is a couple of shortcuts that you can use when you are doing bold, italics, or underline. And this might be something you want to write down and practice on your own time in order to make something bold without having to go find the icon on your keyboard. If you hold down the control button is in the far left corner on the bottom of your keyboard. If you have a standard keyboard, it should be on the far left in the bottom. You hit the control button, hold down the control button, and hit B. That is the shortcut. Again, that's a word you may hear again. Shortcut to make something bold or unbold is Control B. So I'm hitting Control B here. I'm just toggling it so that you can see the word gets bold or it gets unbold. This is not a great font for this because it's already pretty bold on its own. Let's just go to Times New Roman, Control B. There we go. Bold. I'm going to do Control B again, and it's going to make it back to normal. Now notice that that is what we call toggling. When you turn something on and off, you're toggling it. It's a yes or a no. Control B is bold. If I hit Control B again, it toggles it off and it goes right back. Control I to italics. Control I. Now we have italics. Control I again. Toggles that right back off. And then the last one I'd like to share is Control U to make it underlined. If you hit Control U again, it takes the underline off. So those are some of the most common formats that you'll use to make text stand out. Even if you aren't changing colors and size and so forth, you will very, very often use the bold, the underline, and the italics. I use those every single day, I would say. Okay, and then we talked about shortcuts. We talked about using the ribbon and highlighting and font size, color. Okay, so that was a couple of the first things I wanted to share with you guys. Now I would like to do a review with you guys and see how we did. Okay. Can somebody on the call tell me what this means when you see this big B on your ribbon of Microsoft Word? This B right here. What does that mean? What does this B mean here? Anybody?
I'd say bold.
It stands for bold. Exactly.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job, guys. So that's going to make it bold. What about this one? If we see this I, again, in the ribbon up top, there's a button with an I in it. What does that stand for?
Italic.
Italics, exactly. And when do we use italics?
When you're quoting spoken words.
Exactly. Perfect. And then the last one here that we use often, and they even give you a little hint on this one. You see the big U. What does that stand for?
It's for underline.
Exactly. Fantastic. And anybody for bonus points, what is the shortcut for underline?
Control button U.
Exactly.
And hit U.
And do you have to hold control down or just hit both at the same time?
No, you just control down,
Mhm.
then you hit U.
Correct. Very good. And how about italics? What's the shortcut for italics?
Control button and I.
Yep. And last one, the shortcut for bold.
Control button and hit B.
There you go. We got some good learners here. All right. Right here, what is this? This part that's circled here on my page, it says Garamond. What do we call that? What is that? Describe. That is a type of what?
Font.
That's a font. Exactly. And then right next to it, you see the number 12. It's not circled in this one, but what does that number 12 indicate?
Size.
The size of the font. Exactly. All right. And so that's what they have highlighted there. And we already talked about some of these things. And we already went over doing all of that. Okay. So now I would like to go through this handout with you guys, and we can walk through this together. Participation would be much appreciated. So question 1 here, and we're going to use all these words here. So it says, complete the sentences with one of the words below. Some words are used more than once. So we may use the word shortcut multiple times. We may use the word icon multiple times. Let's see what happens. Let's see. You know what? I think I can write on this. 1 second. Yeah, I'm going to write here. Okay. So first question is, blank means to change the text or the layout in a document. Out of our choices up here, what do we think is the answer? Blank means to change the text or layout in a document. Is font, is that the thing that we use to change text or layout? Format means to change the text or the layout in a document. Shortcut text, what do you guys think?
Format.
Format, I agree. So let's see. Let's see if I can write that in there. Format. And I'm going to make it blue for us so that it sticks out a little bit. Let's see if I can. Yep, I'm going to go with blue. Okay, and for the next one, using the blank in the ribbon is one way to format text. Using the blank in the ribbon is one way to format text. What do we think? Using the text in the ribbon is one way to format text. Using the shortcut, using the icon. Again, the key word here is they're telling you that it's in the ribbon. So they're telling you that you can use something up here. This is the ribbon again. So this is the home tab, insert tab, draw tab. But within each tab, you get a different ribbon. And again, the ribbon is the part just below the tabs. So this would be the ribbon all in here.
The icon.
So using the blank in the ribbon is one way to format text. I agree. Icon. I like it. All right. Next one, number 3. A blank is a different way to change the font, and it is quick. These are those, when you hold down Control U, what is that called?
The shortcut.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Perfect. Ooh. Hold on, let's add it right here. Shortcut. A shortcut is a different way to change the font, and it is quick. If I choose Control U, Control B, and Control I am formatting the, what am I formatting if I'm using some of those shortcuts? I'm formatting the, am I formatting the font? Am I formatting the text, the icon?
The icon.
Let's look at that one again. If I choose Control U, Control B, Control I am formatting the
text.
The text. You're formatting the text, exactly. But they are a substitute. I know where you were going with that support. They are a substitute for the icon. You got that right. Okay, next one, number 5 here, and we have 8 total. Blank is to arrange a layout of a document. Let's see, we can go up again and look. Blank is to arrange a layout of a document. This one's a little bit ambiguous. I'm going to just give you guys this one. I think this one would be format is to arrange a layout of a document. Let's look at number 6. What is the style, shape, color, and size of text? What is that called? When you put all those together, all the things we've looked at so far, changing the style, the shape, the color, the size, what is all that called? I'll give you a hint. It's this, it's the name of this. Exactly. There you go. You guys got it. Nice job. Blank is words in print. That's kind of an easy one. Blank is words in print. Home tab, text, format, shortcut, font, or icon. Blank is words in print. I say we go with text. And then number 8 here, let's see. Blank is a small picture or a symbol that represents something you can do on the computer. So what's the name of that thing up in the ribbon that is a small picture or a symbol that represents something you can do on a computer?
An icon.
There you go. Good job, Maureen. There we go. Excellent. Good job, guys. It seems like you guys grasped that lesson really, really well. So I'm glad to hear that. Fantastic. So we're going to go back and look at our document again. So again, we played around with the welcome. We made it bigger. We highlighted it. We changed the font essentially, right? We made it bigger, underline, bold, et cetera, et cetera. Did a lot of fun things there. Now I would like to look at with you guys doing bullet points, making lists with numbers, and then also some alignment. So this is when your document really starts to come together. So here, again, I'm going to just zoom out so you guys can see the whole document there. And where it says welcome, I'm going to make that a little more exciting. I'm going to center it in the page. Again, just like when we were formatting our text earlier, you still want to highlight the word that you want to move, and we're going to center it. We're going to move it to the center of the page. So right now, if I zoom out, you can see it's on the left of the page, but I want to make it in the center. So if you again go up to the icons and the ribbon, and if you go over, so currently you can see that this icon is selected for align left. So that's going to align it to the left of the page. And as you can see, that's the default on most documents, is that you know, we read from top to bottom, left to right. And so when you start writing your document, it starts on the top left and it writes on the left column until you tell it to do something different. In this case, we want to actually make it centered. So you just hit the align center. So again, just put your mouse over that and you can see that it tells you center your content on the page. And it even gives you the shortcut there. It says Control E. Do you guys see that? It gives you the shortcut there. So again, if I put my mouse over it, it gives you the shortcut and it tells you exactly what it's going to do. So Control E would be to center your document. So we have it in the middle here. But now that I've zoomed out, it doesn't look as big as I was, you know, thinking it wanted to be. Let's actually go make it a little bigger. We want it to take up just a big old top of the page and say, welcome to our folks that are checking out our document. And I want to make it red. So that just captures your attention right off the top. We got it centered. We put it in red. And let's even make it bold and underline. Why not? So welcome. And then we have our text down here. Again, if we wanted to actually make this go off to the right, we could also go, again, just to the right of the button for center. So we go to the top icon again, and align right is Control R. In this case, I'm just going to click the icon, and you see that it moves it to the right. So let's toggle with that a little bit. So center, left, back to the center, to the right. A couple different options you can do there. When have you all ever, sometimes people say, well, why would you want to align something to the right? Anybody have any thoughts on that? Why would you want to align to the right? One of the common ways that you see alignment to the right is if we came down to the bottom of the page and you were putting in page numbers. Let's say you wanted to say page 1. And we select our text and then we hit align right. We're pretty used to seeing that on pages, aren't we? In the bottom right. So that's one of the primary reasons that you would align something to the right is you're putting in page numbers, maybe the date or something of a reference. It's not really part of the text, okay?
Even
Okay.
before we changed in when we were learning, we used to write the address of the sender of the letter on the right.
You're exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah. You would so you would let's say I put my address 123 Main Street, Tacoma, Washington 98424, and we put our names and we would select all of that and then we would align it to the right. So it's telling you who it's coming from. Exactly. Fantastic. Okay. So now we've got our text up here at the top. It's been in bold. And you can see here we have a little bit of things. Again, how are we going to increase the font? You guys can just watch this one more time. I'm just going to increase the font. Bold. Underline. I'm just going to use the pop-up in this one and then change the font. So I'm going to make this one big and I'm going to go with something funky and the color. And let's go with, we'll make it a little bigger so you can see it. Okay, so now let's make a grocery list. Who has a recipe that they can share with us? A simple recipe, maybe with a couple ingredients. What's your favorite recipe? I'll take a volunteer. I know somebody's out there probably cooking right now in your kitchen. What are you making? Somebody's on Zoom cooking right now. Or you're going to be cooking shortly after.
I am.
Oh, they're in duty. What are you making?
My husband made vegetable soup, so I'm trying
okay.
to. Oh yeah, I hate it.
Okay. 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 So how to make vegetable soup? Let's make a list, right?
No, that's complicated. That one is complicated.
We're gonna make it a simple one. We're gonna make it a simple one.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're right. It can be complicated for sure. We're gonna make it simple. So notice I just put how to make vegetable soup. I underline in bold. We already know how to do that. But now let's make a list. And so to make a list, again, we have our font and our colors up here. So if you go to the right a little bit more, you see this. This is where you can make bullets. So bullets are going to look like this, right? And there's different types of bullets that you can have. If you just, again, hit the drop down where you have the bullets icon, there are different types of bullets. You can have open bullets like that. You can have kind of little stars, I guess you could call it. You could have check marks, arrows, lots of different options for your bullet and how it's going to look, okay? Or you could go with none. It's really up to you, or just dots. So that's one way to do bullets. In this case, I actually want to do some numbers though, because I want to make a list of numbers of how to make vegetable soup. So what are the ingredients you would need if you were making a shopping list to go make vegetable soup? What would you need to get at the grocery store? Probably green beans.
Beef,
Let's see,
beef,
beef, Mhm.
spinach, mushroom, dried
Yep.
fish.
You guys
Pastor
messing.
Zippy is hungry now.
Yeah, y'all are making me hungry. See, dried fish. You maybe need some. What do they call the base of the soup? Y'all help me out. The liquid, the base of the soup. What do you call that?
The broth.
The broth.
Yes.
There you go. Broth. Always need salt and pepper. We got our. Okay. I think that's a pretty good list. And so let's say you wanted to have multiple types of beans. So let's say you put beans there, but there's multiple types of beans that you wanted to put in. If you hit enter after beans, notice it just continues to add, right? So every time you hit enter at the end, it's just going to add another number there. So, and it's going to count. And notice that if I hit backspace, it actually changes the numbers and goes back. So I have beans. If I hit enter here, see the bottom number right now is 10. If I hit enter, it adds up everything. And now the bottom number is 11. So I'm just going to back up here. But let's say I had multiple types of beans. And so I hit enter here. And then if I hit tab, this is very important when using list. It's the only way to create a sub list in your list. So now if I hit tab, that 2 is going to probably turn into an A. Let's see what happens. Yes. So 1A is going to be green. And then let's say we say black. And I know I'm going a little bit off course on vegetable soup with black beans, but that's okay. And pinto. Okay. And now we have a sub list. So we put beans, but then if we tabbed over, we were able to say green beans, black beans, and pinto beans. And then we're able to continue back with our list on 2 here. So let's say you were here and you were going to add another bean and you say, you know what, I think that's only the 3 beans that I want. Now I want to go back and add number 2. So instead of having that D there, because you don't want that anymore, because you're only going to put 3 types of beans in there, again, hit now your command to go backwards and continue with your numbered list would be shift and tab. So I'm going to hold down shift and hit tab and notice it goes back. Pretty sweet, right? So again, tab over, it's going to give you a sub list of whatever's above. Shift tab, it'll take you right back to your numbered list. So that's a really good way to make a list. I really love using this. I use, again, list all the time. And I really enjoy just staying organized in that manner. And so there's different types of lists that you can have here. You can see there's multiple types. We're kind of doing the basic one that starts with 1 and then 1A. Some might say, well, what happens if you tab over again after A? Well, there you go. You can continue doing this all day. So it's kind of like working in a book when people say, oh, go to Title 1, subsection A, paragraph I, bullet point 1, right? Have you guys ever had those before? That's how this is structured, exactly in that way, so that it continues to break down as much as you want to in your list. Okay. So there we go for that. And we always talked about alignment, and we've talked about bullets. Let me see if there was anything else I wanted to go over with you guys today. So can someone again tell me, how do you align your text? So if I have the word center here, how would I align that? And get it into the middle of the page?
Control E.
Let's try it. So I'm gonna grab it and hit Control. Did you say Control E?
Yes.
Control E. Let's see what happens. There we go. Right in the middle. Perfect. Very good job. And if we wanted to go to the right, what would we do? Control right, Control R. Mm-hmm. And then what's left? Control left, Control L.
L.
So some people say, well, why do you have these shortcuts? Because you're not always going to be on the home ribbon. Maybe sometimes you have this ribbon up here and you're not in that section and you don't want to just go to ribbon and then have to find the icon because you're working in a different section of Microsoft Word. Once you know those shortcuts, it just allows you to come here and just get right to the point and do what you want to do. And so as you continue to elevate in your education in Word, those will become your best friend. And they'll save you a lot of time navigating your Word document. Okay. That's it for today, guys. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to share with you guys. I think that was the primary things. Yep, we went over that. Yes, that is it. What questions do you guys have?